Oh yeah, freak out, yeah, I'm looking right into the video scope, and this is Macho Man, #1 Macho Man impersonator, past, present, future, yeah, and I'm here to tell you, you are watching 49er Minded with Bashar, yeah, the cream of the crop, dig it?
It's not just a thought process, but a way of life.
49er minded. 49er minded. I can't shake it. It's 49er mind that I got. It's 49er shine that I got. My psyche's on another Frisco Super Bowl. Don't sit slow, cause here we go with a super show. A red and gold session. About a red and gold obsession. With some well-controlled expressions. Let's talk about that being that we got. Who should have been in the spot? That's how it's been in the spot. Call that back, call that crack, call that strip, bumble sack. Or just dial it on up if you wanna talk smack. It don't matter what the storyline, as long as the story aligns with a 49er mind. 49er minded.
It's not just a thought process,
49er minded,
but a way of life. Bashar.
49er minded.
Way of life.
49er minded.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of 49er Minded, where we get into the minds of 49er fans. Before I bring my guests on today, just got to say what's up to the chatters. We got E. Kim. How's it going? Says, hey, Bashar and Eric. We got John V from the Locker Room Rant. Check him out. Check out his YouTube channel. He's always here. He's always supporting. He says, Bash, my brother from another mother. How you doing, bro? 49er Chanel. And without further ado, we got to bring on, he's from the Bay Area, and he's a baller. BayAreaBaller18. What's good?
Bashar, thanks for having me on. Yo, that intro was lit. That's got to be new. That's not the one that I've seen previously.
Okay, yeah. So my previous shows that I basically kind of kicked off the second season for 49er Minded, we had a special guest on my show, a 49er rapper from SoCal, goes by the name of 49er Dude. He's been a guest on my show in the past, actually, and he was gracious enough to make that 49er Minded song. So shout out to the guy, great guy. I'm finally going to meet him actually over at the home opener. So I'm going to talk about the home opener a little bit later in the show and the event that we have planned for that. But yeah, he was nice enough to do that for me, and I really appreciate it. And for those who still love my original intro, don't worry, I use that to close out my shows.
Good, yeah, because you know I like to jam out to that song. Red and gold color socks.
It's actually, I'm at the very, you're referring to the part at the end. I'm saying we the San Francisco 49ers, we got that red and gold blood inside us. So I guess you would sound like socks. Maybe I should have pronounced it a bit more clear, I guess.
Damn, I've been vibing out to the wrong lyrics the whole time. Hey,
I don't own a pair of red and gold colored socks either. if I then it would sound like I'm lying. So maybe I should buy some. Hey, why not? We got Somi. What's up, Somi? Big 49er fan. What's up, 49er fans? How you doing, bro? New viewer, I think. We got Sherrod Q. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to the family. Niners all day. How's your off season treating you, Eric? Been a while since we talked on here.
It's going great. I'm excited. It's a fun time of year. Football's right around the corner, and I mean, it just makes Sundays just so much better.
It sure does, without a doubt. But there are some people out there who are, I remember when the last preseason game ended, they're like, oh, it's 17 days till the next Niners season. I'm like, look, if you have family or friends or things that you haven't really been doing, get them done now, because when football season comes, your Sundays are not going to be available. Obviously I like to go to church, but sometimes I might go to the late mass or go the night before. I'll try to work it within my 49er schedule, because it's crazy on Sundays, man. We just get hooked on these Niners, and we're all just crazy like that. Just what it is, man. It's that time of the year where you're zoned in on the TV and yelling and screaming for your team. You're cheering, you're cussing, you're doing whatever, man. And I was going to say, man, I was kind of tired before the show was put together. I was setting up my equipment, and I was like, damn. But you know what, man? It's just this guy, BayAreaBaller, has an energy level that's through the roof. I feel like whenever I do any type of collab with him, like I feel like I got to drink 5 Red Bulls to keep up with his energy. but your energy is just like totally infectious.
Hey, I appreciate that, Bashar. And that's why I had to start up my new weekly show for this season is 49er Fired Up. Because you know how I get when I'm talking ball, I start getting fired up, you know, whether it's about a good thing or I'm upset about something. It's just how it goes.
Yes. Speaking of fired up, I'm gonna play a past clip of us. This is the last time that we had collab together. It was in the off season. It was on draft day actually, and I'm just gonna cue up this video, and the video speaks for itself. Here we go.
Little perked.
Let's go!
Who?
Danny Gray!
Danny Gray! Yeah! Woo! Let's go! Let's go!
Hey,
Yeah, baby!
Dynamic.
Yeah!
we're gonna trade Debo.
Hey, okay. You guys ready for the announcement?
What's that? Go.
Okay. And with the 105th pick of the NFL draft, the San Francisco 49ers select Danny Gray, wide receiver for SMU. Let's go, baby! That's for you, Joey Mahoney. You're watching. I know you're a huge Danny Gray fan. But yeah, good times. That was just so crazy, man. Because it was funny. That was the first time I did any stream that long. Wasn't on my channel. Shout out to Kelts Chronicles for letting me use that video on my channel. Just a little snippet. We literally sat in front of our laptops and our computers for 4.5 hours, man. My butt was so damn sore. It was as if I drove like 8 hours to San Diego from where I live. It was nuts. Crazy day. But on that broadcast, if I had the time to do it and the will to do it, I literally said Danny Gray's name a good like 20 times on that broadcast prior to us drafting him. So once we picked him, it was like, okay, cool, the sexy pick. Here it is. Here it comes. You know.
No doubt. I know you loved Danny Gray. I was also enamored with Danny Gray on the lead up to the draft. You know we ran the 4.3, but when I watched the tape at SMU, his speed just jumps off the screen. And I'm super excited to add him to this wide receiver core. I know we're going to be talking depth chart, but you know, Danny Gray, he's a deep threat. He can also win in the short. I think he's also a yak guy. I think he can catch a short one, get upfield with that dynamic speed, sneaky, shifty. We love the pick. You love the pick. I love the pick. Trey Lance is going to open up a lot of things down the field, and Danny Gray is going to contribute there.
Oh yeah, and a buddy of mine introduced me to Danny Gray months before the draft, and saw his videos, and of course his speed just captivates you. It's funny because when we drafted him, a friend of mine was unaware of him, and no biggie if you didn't know who he was, but he was like, "Oh well, I guess he's like another Goodwin." I'm like, "Look, him and Goodwin, you could say he's faster, but him and Goodwin had that similar speed, deep threat type trait." But Danny Gray, like Kyle Shanahan told him on the phone on draft day, we love your speed, but we also love your toughness. So he's got a bit of an edge to him, and he's more built. He's just got a much better built, bigger built, more built body than that of a good one, so to speak. Even, I heard some Deshaun Jackson comparisons at times in the preseason after he caught that bomb from Trey Lance, that is, and that's a great comparison. But again, Deshaun Jackson was a skinny dude. This guy's actually got a nice little build to him, and hopefully he can improve his route running, because that's kind of been the issue so far in camp. Whether Danny Gray can utilize his speed so much in route running, because you can have all the speed you want, but if you're not a good / great route runner, it doesn't always take you to where you need to go.
No doubt. And when we're kind of comparing Danny Gray to Goodwin, I would say Goodwin's got that straight line speed, right? Whereas Danny Gray, I think he's just a better athlete with better hips, and he can make sharper cuts, stick that foot in the ground and make a sharp cut. So I think Danny Gray, I think it's going to translate, the speed's going to translate better to an NFL field than, let's say, Goodwin, he had his moments, but he's kind of a one-trick pony.
Oh yeah, and his dependability wasn't all that great either. You mentioned the hips, reminded me of Shakira. My hips don't lie, but yeah, the cool thing, again, you mentioned it earlier, was when you watch Danny Gray's film, it's not just that straight ahead speed, deep route type stuff. You did see some of the yak yardage stuff. Now, I'm not saying he's a Debo, but he does. He look. You watch him, you're like, whoa, Shanahan's probably like salivating at what he has in mind in store for this guy.
It's like he has good vision after the catch. He catches it, finds the spot that's going to get the most yards. He's north and south is what I like to say. He's not dancing around going lateral. He's getting north and south and getting yards, and he's getting them in a hurry.
He sure is. So let's see. We got a little comment in the chat. He says, I compared it with DHB. That was Darius Hayward-Bay, the world famous bust from the Oakland Raiders. Oh, no, Las Vegas Raiders, that is.
Yeah.
He said I was gladly wrong. Yeah, we don't know how good Danny Gray's going to be this year. Obviously, we still need a season. I'm not, there still is that opportunity that he could still suck. I hate to say it, but it's still out there. But it doesn't look like it. Looks like he can at least be that one trick pony, and I won't be surprised if they get him going with that right after the catch stuff too. Because Shanahan's great at scheming those type of plays.
Yeah, I even think on some end arounds, he can be formidable in that way.
Somebody didn't like my Shakira. He's just kidding. I know this guy. He said, please don't compare Shakira to a football player. My right hand. Well, thank you.
Hey, underrated halftime Super Bowl performance.
Oh, that's right.
Shakira and J-Lo.
J-Lo, right? J-Lo and Shakira.
For some reason, I heard it getting some hate. I don't know. Some people didn't like. I enjoyed that one.
I know a lot of the female audience they weren't too pleased with that, but the unfortunate thing is that was during the Super Bowl that we just took a crap in the fourth quarter, which alludes to our next topic that's coming up, the quarterbacks, Jimmy G, Trey Lance. So I don't know where you were at, maybe you're at work or something. Maybe you got a text from your boy. Maybe you were just glancing on your phone on Twitter. How the news arrived to you yesterday, and what ran through your mind, and what did you say? How did you react?
Yeah, I was at work, and I was busy working. When I caught a break, look at my phone, and it's like the notifications I got like 12 notifications, just all of them. Jimmy Garoppolo returns to the 49ers, and it's like, what? Right? And Bashar, I like it. I like this move. Jimmy's taking like a 20 mil pay cut. So that was my whole thing with Jimmy G, was that he was never worth his contract. And that was the 27 mil he was due. Like, Jimmy's solid. He's pretty good, but he's not worth 27 mil. He just restructured down to 7 mil. And yeah, if he plays, which the only scenario that I can see Jimmy G playing this year is if Trey Lance gets hurt. I'm not playing, like, if we lose the first game somehow, to the Bears, which I don't expect. Sorry, I know we're going to talk about that game, but this is Trey's team. What I will say is he's going to be running the ball a lot, Bashar. We know the 49ers have been working on this triple option, right? Well, you are putting the quarterback in harm's way if you're doing that. I'm expecting Trey Lance to run a lot. And what comes with, running the ball a lot at the quarterback position? Potentially injuries, So that's where I do like bringing in Jimmy, because now if Trey misses 2-3 games, we have a competent backup, where I don't know if I had actually, I didn't have confidence in Sudfeld. Maybe Purdy's kind of crafty. He can make a few plays, but now with Jimmy back there, it's got me feeling good. I really like this move.
I wish I could put more of a positive spin on it. I appreciate your positivity. I'm usually really, really positive about these things. I'm not sure if you saw it, but I had a pretty strong knee-jerk reaction over on Kelt's Chronicles channel. I was dropping F-bombs. I just see, and what I did, and I did preface the whole rant by this. This is what I'm obviously a lot more calmed down on right now, and I'll give you my reasons. And I slept on it, and that's what we do. But sure, initially, sure, obviously he took a major pay cut, which was totally unexpected. I didn't expect that pay cut at all. I thought Jimmy would have just said, "Hey, release me. I can go get a better salary. I might not be able to get my $25 million, obviously, but I can get a bit of a pay cut, but it wouldn't be that substantial, and I could try to compete for a starting position elsewhere." Even though it'd be kind of late for going into week one. But, I was thinking, okay, sure, on paper, excellent. That, we have the best players on our roster. This is the best backup that Trey Lance could easily have by a mile in terms of talent, in terms of what he can do on the field. My main concern was this. I just thought that it opened up the door for a lot of negativity and a lot of possible things. You run the risk of a possible divide in the locker room somewhere down the road in the season if it were to take place. I have no idea how who, if Jimmy G still has main guys that really, really want to strive and support him, or all that went out the window when Kyle Shanahan told those guys. Because when Kyle Shanahan told the media that Trey Lance was our quarterback and he's our guy, he mentioned that to the teammates and the guys on the team way before that, way before they ever broke the news to the media. So I'm pretty sure that, there's a strong feeling that maybe a lot of those players already are conditioned in their head to move on from Jimmy as being the guy and Trey's our guy and we're rolling with it. So that if that's the case, that's fine. There won't be a divide in the locker room. I'm just saying it just gives it a possibility now. And you also get run the possibility of having Trey Lance having more added pressure in the back of his head, like, oh wow, I got this guy breathing down my shoulder now. And in that case, you run the situation of him pressing. And whenever you press, you don't play your best. I wasn't trying to rhyme, but it happened. You know how it is when you're stressful about something, you just don't respond as properly. Now sure, in many cases, people they say, "Oh, light a fire or whatever, light a fire in this player." Sure, but I had all that ran through my mind, and then I had this whole crazy scenario that drew up in my head of like. Just like thirsty Jimmy G fans coming to the games. You didn't see my rant. If you saw my rant, that's like the R-rated version of the story that I've given everybody. But I just had this crazy scenario of fans coming to the game and with "we want Jimmy" signs and all this crazy stuff and put in Jimmy signs and with Jimmy G, if Trey Lance played like a so-so game, so to speak, and didn't necessarily wow anybody, but during the performance of the game, you'd hear chants of "we want Jimmy." I was just thinking about all this craziness that may take place. And, and maybe I was overthinking. Maybe, it was a knee-jerk reaction on my part when I did that. And keep in mind, when I did go on Kelt's Chronicles, I was oblivious because I didn't read the details. All I saw that Jimmy G came and he took a pay cut. I was oblivious to the fact that we can receive a compensatory pick for Jimmy G. You might be more well-versed on the details than I am about that, but go ahead and explain that. But that's cool. I mean, that's a win in my opinion. We're still going to get some value for Jimmy at the end of the season when it's all said and done,
Yeah, we can potentially get a third-round pick, if Jimmy leaves and goes to another team. But it's like predicated on other aspects as to Bashar. It's not like that black and white where if Jimmy leaves, we get a third-round pick. Depends like who we sign and who else leaves. So that remains to be seen. I'm not really counting on the third-round pick. I'm looking at it as we have one of the best. And I'm not the biggest Jimmy guy. You know that. But we got one of the best backups, if not the best backup in the NFL. And, at $7 million, it's not an outrageous contract. In fact, I had kind of floated out this theory of maybe restructuring him and bringing him back where we can save some money. But I was thinking getting him down to like 10, 12 mil. And we got him down to 7, Bashar. So I think it's a win. And I understand your hesitation or your nervousness about the added pressure. But I mean, it is what it is. There's a lot of pressure on any NFL player, every NFL quarterback. There's a ton of pressure on you. So I don't think this really adds much in that aspect. I'm looking at it just from a roster construction standpoint. Like I said, I know Trey Lance is going to be running a lot. He got nicked up last year with the finger. He got nicked up with the knee for a little bit. So I think it's good insurance, at least for 1 year.
Yeah, and before I'm going to get to some of the chatters, some people arrived in late and dropped in some comments, so don't worry, I got some of you guys. I always take care of my chatters. I appreciate you guys a whole lot because without you, I wouldn't have a show. None of us would have a show, so none of us would have nothing. But I forgot what I was going to say. Let me just. What did you just say? I was gonna add on to it at the end.
Yeah. Shoot. Yeah. We're talking about Trey Lance.
Okay. Let me just get to the chatters then, because I was gonna say something and boom, I forgot. It's all good.
Bad.
It's all. I don't know. It's my fault. There you go. So Rick Diaz, welcome to the channel. Says, "What's going on, my friends over there, wherever you guys located? I think he means he likes my background. He says I like something that you have behind you. So yeah, it's my cool little green screen." And then he said something else. He said, "Hey, you remember Steve Young running gun? I can do run man, but he scored a touchdown." So I showed him it. What's up, David Edmondson? Happy birthday to you, bro. I know you had celebrated your birthday yesterday. You weren't really too happy with the Jimmy move, like myself, but And I know you weren't happy with some other moves, but hey, you know, we're Niner fans. We just got to fight through these adversity type of deals that just roam through our brain sometimes, and sometimes we're not happy with certain things that the front office does. I understand, and I'm almost usually, I feel like I'm like one of the last guys that criticizes Kyle and John, but you know, if it's not like I've never criticized them before either. At the same time, you know.
No doubt. I mean, I've yelled fire John Lynch once or twice in my day.
It's funny because I was just thinking about John Lynch and a lot of the players we drafted, and I always feel like this is the deal. I feel like it's almost like poor John Lynch is out there almost like a figurehead. It's almost like he's a figurehead, and it's like, yeah, this Hall of Fame, amazing player, by the way. I remember him when he was last year at Stanford, played for Bill Walsh. Awesome player. And then, you know, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, he was a beast, won the Super Bowl. Broncos, he was a beast. And then, like, it's like, I don't know, he's a general manager, but it's almost like some Niner fans just like, if we have a really good player, but hey, but we drafted this player and he's good, we got that player and he's good. Then this is the response. This is the template response that I usually hear, the default response. Oh, well, John Lynch didn't draft that guy. Adam Peters did. It's like
John Lynch only picks the bust. The good players are Adam Peters.
And every now and then Kyle may have picked them. So it's like mainly Adam Peters and a little bit of Kyle, and then John is just a bust. Whoever he picks is a bust. It's just how it is.
Funny. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, dude. And let's see what Sherrod says about Jimmy G. He says Jimmy G is the best backup quarterback in the league, which makes him the best insurance policy in the league. That's true. And there you go. Somebody mentioned something earlier. Says it's a totally win-win. It's most likely we trade him before the deadline. If we don't get him, we'll still get third round compensatory pick when he leaves as a free agent. That's true. I mean, obviously, Kelts mentioned this when I was on with him. The league dictated what Jimmy G's worth currently in terms of his salary. We all know that he was no longer worth $25 million. Now, I thought Jimmy could go to another team and possibly get 15. Who knows? But maybe these other teams, and they were just telling Don E and 49ers that, no, we're not willing to pay Jimmy this kind of money. And if we were to be on an incentive-laden prove-it type deal, and that was that. But at the end of the day, if another team's quarterback goes down, John Lynch's phone's ringing, and maybe Adam Peters' phone ringing too. But, you know, our phone's going to be ringing regardless.
No doubt.
And Big Play Slay just hopped in. He's an Eagles fan, but a big NFL fan in general. Says, what's up, Bashar and BayAreaBaller? Check out his channel if you want to watch the Eagles. And I think he covers all different kind of sports in general. Oh, here's a good question. Rick Diaz says, are you guys coming to Chicago in a week more so to play the Chicago Bears? Or watch them play, that is. I'd like to meet you in person. I'll be there. Oh, I'm not going to be there. I'm going to be at Seattle week 1. I'll display the info later. We're doing a meet and greet the night before over in in Santa Clara. That is, I'm not gonna be in Seattle. I'm gonna be Santa Clara week 1 when we play Seattle. So yeah, I'd love to meet a lot of you guys, a lot of you viewers, and there's a lot of the guests I'm gonna meet some guests I've had on the show, but I never met them in person. But I'm gonna meet Nick from Nothing But Niners in Santa Clara the night before the Seahawks game. So that's gonna be cool. Looking forward to meeting that dude. He's an awesome dude. So yeah.
And let me tell you, the only road game I've ever been to was in Chicago. I went and saw it was an overtime win. Robbie Gould was kicking for the Bears at the time, missed the game-winning kick. Game went into overtime. Blaine Gabbert hits Torrey Smith for a game-winning touchdown. That was the only road game I've been to with my now wife. You know, we had a great time in Chicago. I will tell you, though, Bashar, it was late one night. Actually, I think it was the night of the game, right? So I may or may not have been intoxicated. You know, I wanted some White Castle, right? We're at the hotel, right? Because we don't have White Castle out here in the Bay. I wanted some White Castle. I was like, okay, let's Uber to the closest White Castle, right? Not really thinking too much into it, Bashar. It was like, 2 or 3 miles away. It's pretty close. We ended up in the hood of Chicago. I'm looking around, right? I'm like, oh, damn. And it's like 9, 10 o'clock. It's dark. I'm like, damn, I don't think we were supposed to go to this White Castle. I was fire up that Uber.
Harold and Kumar go to White Castle. It's interesting. Interesting that you mentioned that game because out of nowhere today, I think it may have popped up on an Instagram feed on the 49ers Rewind Instagram page, if I'm not mistaken. They're always popping up old school 49er clips. And lo and behold, I see Blaine Gabbert throwing a touchdown to Torrey Smith to end the game. So I literally just saw that yesterday or today, and I was like, oh, that was a fun game to watch. Probably Blaine Gabbert's only great moment as a Niner. He had a big touchdown run in that game too, I remember. Yeah, he was on fire that game. I don't know what happened to him all throughout the rest of his 49er career. He was his normal self. That's what happened to him.
I mean, he's just a bust. That dude was a first-round pick, Bashar.
Yeah, I remember when they were hyping him up in the first round, and I didn't really care. I was like, oh, who's this guy? I don't care for this guy. Well, if the 49ers get him, I'd be pissed. I'm just, even though we had Alex Smith at the time, he was lackluster. Let me say what's up to this guy right here. What's up, Jay Aguayo? If I'm saying your name, Jay Aguayo 56 says 49ers being the starting quarterback of the 49ers is always a pressurized situation. Oh, no doubt. We're just a stoic franchise, and we come for greatness all the way back to the days of Frankie Albert, Y.A. Tittle, John Brody, Joe Montana, Steve Young, Steve Bono. You get Jeff Garcia, Kaepernick. Alex Smith had a little moment in the playoffs with us. So, and now we got Jimmy to Trey Lance. So it's you're the Niners quarterback. You're the big man on the campus in the NFL. You got the bright lights in front of you. And one more comment before we get back to our conversation. What's up, Shifty 49ers Talk? Another content creator. What's up, dude? Says can't wait for Chicago week one. Week one of Chicago. Says I feel pretty confident heading into week one. Defense should be off the chain, dude. This pass rush is nuts. What do you think about the front, the D line, and the pass rush this coming season?
I mean, I think we got the deepest D line in the NFL. And then you look at the linebacker core. I think we got the best linebacker core in the NFL. So it's like 2 out of the 3 phases of the defense I think are top notch. Then we added Charvarius Ward, Mooney, as he likes to be called. And, Emmanuel Mosley's there. We know Jimmy Ward's going to be out the first 4 weeks, and that's a tough loss. Jimmy Ward's a hell of a player.
What? I thought it was only 2 weeks, and my friend Somi Mary in the chat was telling me about it initially, and he was worried about it. And I wasn't worried then because I was like, oh, it's just the first 2 weeks, and our pass rush is so dope. I'm going to talk about Drake Jackson in a minute, but now I'm a little worried. It's like, whoa, 4 weeks now? Come on now. George Odom better bring it. I like him, as a backup safety, and I think he can fill in and start every now and then, but I don't know about the first 4 weeks of the season.
Bashar, are you surprised they didn't kick the tires on Jaquiski Tartt after he was cut by the Eagles?
When I saw that his name was released, I was surprised. Did anybody pick him up? Is he just still dangling out there?
I think he's still out there, and I'm a Tartt guy. I don't know where you stand on Tartt, but I like me some Jaquiski Tartt. I think in a scenario like this, I mean, I know they went out and got Odom, but it's like Tartt's been in our system for as long as Shanahan's whole tenure. So I'd be calling them, but the way they've responded so far, I don't know if it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen.
Something tells me maybe Tartt is reluctant to come back. Maybe that is the case. I mean, who knows? I mean, Jimmy Ward they were high school teammates. You'd assume by default that he would come back and the 49ers would try to welcome him in open arms. I like certain things that Tartt could do. I was pretty indifferent on Tartt leaving, to be honest with you. I wasn't gonna cry if he left. I wasn't gonna, get mad. I wasn't gonna get mad if he stayed.
No.
And I know he dropped that would-be interception. I know a lot of people got mad about it. We were all mad about that. Nobody's ever happy to see that, especially in a huge game and with the play, in the playoffs where that could possibly take you to the Super Bowl. So yeah, I don't know what they're doing with Tartt. I don't think he's coming back. I guess it would have happened by now, right? And let's see. We got Shifty's got something to say about that. He mentioned Tayshaun Gibson, so let's see what he says. So I think Tayshaun Gibson. Why is it Gibson? I think Tayshaun Gibson gets promoted to active roster prior to week one. Only 3 safeties on the 53-man roster right now. It's a good point. We did pick up Tayshaun Gibson. The guy has 27 career interceptions. He has done it. He has been productive. I don't know how much gas he has left the tank now, but we'll see. I mean, what do you think about that?
I mean, he's on the practice squad as of right now. I mean, I'd probably prefer Tartt, but that's not what we have. I do like the fact that we signed Gibson. When he was the Cleveland Brown, he was a damn good safety. He's a few years removed from his prime, but in a pinch, a vet like that, I think it's a good guy to have on the practice squad.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back to the quarterback conversation because a good buddy of mine, T Breezy from the ATL, You guys may know him from the Rombo Show. Trez from the TNT connection over there. He says this is not a win-win situation. He said this is not a win situation. Whenever there's been a team to go and draft a first-round quarterback, they immediately move on for quarterback QB1. But not banana. This guy does not like Shanahan, by the way. He calls him Banana Shanahan. He says, but not banana hands. This is unfair to Trey. When his contract is due, make him pay. Yeah, it's just, I don't know what's going through Trey's mind. People are saying that he's been positive. I know he put out that tweet of all the guys in the QB room. Was some picture of Trey Lance sat next to Jimmy, and they see Brock Purdy in the background. But this might be just a little tiny bump in the road for Trey Lance. At the same time, he's mentally strong. I've mentioned this documentary multiple times. I'm a huge fan of it. If you haven't seen it, you got to see it. If you're a Trey Lance lover, Trey Lance hater, if you're on the fence about Trey Lance, wherever you stand, you're a Niner fan, just watch it. You're a football fan, just watch it. It's called The Choice. It's produced by Matt Mayoko with in cohesion with NBC Sports Bay Area. It's an excellent documentary on Trey Lance's story. I mean, it starts from his younger days in elementary school all the way up to the pros. And it's an excellent story. I don't know if you saw it, but I recommend it. And this guy, the reason why I bring it up is we're mentioning this as this could be some adversity for Lance to battle in his head. But this guy has battled amazing obstacles all throughout his life.
No doubt. I've seen some clips of it on NBC Bay Area. What I will say is, Bashar, this is Trey's team, all right? Yeah, Jimmy's the backup, but Jimmy's the backup. This is Trey's team. He goes out, he plays well. Guess what? You're not going to hear a peep from Jimmy Garoppolo. You might see him on the sideline, when they pan to the 49ers celebrating after a Lance touchdown. And guess what? Jimmy Garoppolo is going to have a smile on his face because I do think he's a good teammate. But most importantly, this is Trey's team. We got nothing to worry about. Jimmy G's only insurance if Trey Lance gets dinged up. So, I don't see much negative. I know it can split the locker room. I don't think that's going to happen. I think we got the right veterans in place on this team. I'm talking Fred Warner. I'm talking George Kittle. I'm talking Trent Williams. We got the right people in place. The one thing that will be divided is 49ers Twitter. That's the one place that we're going to see some division. But that's the only place. I'm not expecting that in the locker room. And as long as Trey Lance is balling out, making plays, winning games, it's his squad.
Exactly. And at the end of the day, he pretty much, I'm not saying that he has to dominate this season. I think that at the end of the day, he just has to play good football, this season. He has to do it regardless, It's just the bottom line with Trey. And we're not going to sit there and tell Trey, hey, go throw the ball 45 times a game. No, we got plenty of guys he can hand the ball off to. We got guys who he doesn't have to always throw the deep pass to. We can run those little short little slants or little hitch passes to whoever and have them get rack yardage. And it's going to be fun to watch. I think it's going to be a really fun season. We got the playmakers now. The O-line has to prove that they can protect Trey properly. We haven't seen that. That's a big question. I know. Where is he at? Jay Aguayo 56 says, I'm most worried about our safety depth. Very thin at the position. I like the safety depth. I'm not necessarily the depth so much, but I'm not so worried about the safety so much as I am the offensive line. But again, the offensive line is the reason why I mentioned the offensive line because I was talking about Trey. You stepped away for a second. Not sure if you heard me. Yeah. But I'm just saying we're not going to do. Shanahan's not going to make things hard on Trey to try to make him, Peyton Manning overnight or anything like that. We're going to ease him into the role. We're a run heavy team. You were mentioning earlier something about Trey. I'm not sure if you were mentioning that we're going to run a lot with Trey. Because I would have to beg to differ on that one. I don't want to see Trey. I was reading how much Josh Allen runs and how many yards he piled up. And I know they're successful with it, but I just do not want to see Trey in that role where he just constantly runs and pounds. And I just feel like it's too much on it. It's too much. It'll be too much on his body.
I know what you mean, Bashar, but here's the thing. Trey, he's not the most accurate guy. Okay. I'm not overly concerned about his accuracy, but running the ball is just part of who he is. It's what he did at North Dakota State. It's what he did in high school. It's just part of his game. So, they're practicing the triple option. It's just going to be a wrinkle. They're not going to run the triple option all game, but it's going to be a wrinkle defenses are going to have to respect. Otherwise, you take one false step as a linebacker on the against the triple option. Well, guess what? Now we're pitching it to Debo. He's off to the races, and it's a legitimate weapon. But Trey Lance is going to run. I'm expecting at least like 500 to 600 rushing yards. I know you're not a fantasy football guy, but I've been looking at all this stuff.
I did. I just wasn't. It wasn't me.
These rushing quarterbacks are putting up, whether it's Hurts or Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson will rush for 1,000 yards. Like, they're running. It's just what the NFL is now, Bashar. Lance is going to run, and that's why I like the fact that we do have a good backup.
I get what you're saying. We'll see how much he runs this year. We really will. It's funny because I always want to add something nice to it and then I forget, but I think I remember what it was now. And before I get to that point, it looks like Smitty, and that's not Smitty. I'm really mixed up names today and saying things funny today. Sorry, guys. Really quick, David McNeil, what's up? Says, what's up, Bash Bay Area Baller? Solid supporter of this channel. 49er dudes in the house says, yo, what I miss. We played the intro with you rapping over it earlier, that you missed part of that. Just a typical Niner banter about Jimmy, and we're going to talk about another position of need, or a position in question in just a second. But Shifty mentions this because we were talking about the whole quarterback position, the scenario, and what's going on. Shifty's 49ers talk. Check out his YouTube channel. It says 49ers front office is great at communicating. The team is on board with Trey. Jimmy is a pro and will play his backup role. The front office through communication helped us bring back Debo, Gold, and Mostert. Hey, I'm not trying to pump my chest out on this one, but I was on here. Sure, we were kind of mad at what Debo was doing, but at the end of the day, I was on here and I was with the line of thought that John Chapman always said this. I think cooler heads will prevail, and I was like, you know what? At the end of the day, I think things are going to calm down, and Debo is going to be back and be a Niner. So yeah, the front office did a good job. But he mentioned Mostert. We did lose Mostert though, but it's okay. You don't retain every player.
Mostert didn't even play last year.
You don't retain every player, and at the end of the day, you're right. He just, we'd get him for 2 games in the beginning of the season. He'll rip off a 90-yard run, and then boom, we're back to using our backups. So that is what it is with him. But there is a certain running back out there. Obviously, Elijah Mitchell is going to be the starter. We rested him throughout the preseason. We drafted a running back last year in Trey Sermon. And now he's bye-bye. What runs through? What's going on in your mind with that one, man? How do you think about that?
Man, that was disappointing. When we watched Trey Sermon at Ohio State with Justin Fields, they're winning all these games. Trey Sermon's rushing for 200 yards, and then we picked him. It's like, oh, I like the pick. Then he got on the field, and I didn't think he was that bad last year. Really, the only game he got a lot of extended run was the Packers game when everyone was dinged up.
Philly game.
Was it Philly?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The Philly game where he took that knee to the head. He had about 86 yards. Yeah.
I feel like he got run in the Packers game too. But for last year, he averaged over 4 yards a carry, which in my mind is kind of that point of whether, hey, you're making plays. Like statistically, against statistics, you can only analyze so much. But if you're over 4 yards a carry, I'm like, okay, that's pretty good. If you're down closer to 3, then that's not good. So I didn't think he was that bad, but the preseason, he looked awful. Let's be real. He looked bad in the preseason. Then you see guys like the undrafted guy, Jordan Mason, come in, start tearing it up. And really, I don't know where you stand. We're talking running backs. I'm big on Jeff Wilson. I really like Jeff Wilson. I think Jeff Wilson runs hard in capital letters. And not only that, TDP, Davis Price, he was showing me a little something. I know the 4th and 1 in the preseason game, he started dancing laterally. You don't like to see that. 4th and 1, get downhill, run someone over, get a yard. But I thought TDP was showing some good vision. So I think ultimately, and Hasty, 49ers also said adios to JaMychal Hasty. Hasty's solid. I'm not the biggest Hasty guy. I know some Niners fans on Twitter were upset that we didn't bring him back, and then your boy Balky out in Jacksonville scoops him up. But I think we kept the 4 guys that I wanted most, Bashar.
You said my boy Balky. I'm not sure if you saw it, but I have it on my channel for those of you guys want to check this out after the show. There's a Trent Balky prank call video that I do have on my channel. you guys want to watch it, feel free, click on it. It's just like a 1-minute video. It's really Trip Balky's voice. It's not fake or anything like that. And feel free to check that one out. My boy Balky, I love that. Some other people at the crowd. Oh my gosh. So somebody else just showed up here. Joey Mahoney says, "What's up, Bass? What's up, Bay Area Baller? The president of the Danny Gray fan club is here." You missed it because we played. You've seen it before. The Danny Gray draft reaction video with BayAreaBaller18 and myself with Celts when they had drafted him, and it was a lot of fun to relive that moment. It was just funny. And hopefully, Danny Gray is a fixture on this team. I love what I see so far, and then hopefully we see it pan out in real games and a whole lot more, without a doubt. So it's a lot of fun. I mean,
hey,
Trey
one of my
sorry,
can I jump in?
Go
One of my
go ahead.
One of my scorching hot takes that I laid out on my 49ers Fired Up show is I think Danny Gray's going to average over 15 yards a catch, and that would put him in like the top 10 of the NFL in terms of yards per catch. Is where
How about 17 yards per catch?
It's possible. It's possible. Debo did it last year, so it's possible. I expect Danny Gray to be a field stretcher. He's going to be making big plays, so I wouldn't rule it out.
That's true. And this goes to my next topic. A 49er dude said Ohio State running backs hardly ever work out. Bye-bye Sermon. What was the other school that he played for? I know he played with Kyler Murray.
Oklahoma.
Yeah, I was thinking Texas Tech, but I knew it wasn't Texas Tech. Oklahoma. So he also played for Oklahoma. But my thing was Trey Sermon's a disappointment. I wanted him to pan out. I was rooting for him this offseason. I was excited to see him on this team, to see what he could do. And what I saw from him on the field in the preseason, his vision looked really bad. He was just making the wrong cuts or running through the wrong holes at times. It just didn't look good. Now, this last preseason game, there were moments where he was getting some good runs. I was like, okay, Trey Sermon. All right,
Yeah.
okay, now I'm starting to see what you got. But at the end of the day, when you look at the stat sheet, it was only 2.5 yards a carry. Now, there were times where the O-line was pretty crappy. I'll say that much.
That's true.
But, I'm pretty sure the 49ers, running back, their coaches, and that they saw enough of what they saw. And at the end of the day, sometimes you cut players and you're loaded at that position. Just because you cut a player, it doesn't mean he can't play in this league. It's just that you can only keep so many at that spot. It's a numbers game,
Facts.
Yep. And we got a new guy. Welcome to the family. Welcome to the channel. I said, watch that first game. If Kyle has over 10 design runs for Trey, but he doesn't trust Trey at all. Oh my God. I don't know, man. That's pretty crazy if they do 10 design runs. One thing I liked about back to Trey running, I don't want to talk about too much, but we all love the fact that when Trey Lance dropped the pass, when Trey dropped a pass against the Packers in that preseason game, he saw the protection break down, I think, from both sides at one point, or the protection was getting towards his face. He stopped. He moved away from it. He stopped and reset his feet, and he looked to throw again. The first time around, he was looking to throw still, stopped again, and then he looked to throw, and then he ran. And what did he do? Mm-hmm. He slid. So that was good to see. Now, God forbid it's not one of those situations that we just saw from Justin Fields in that last preseason game where Justin Fields freaking slid. And then next thing you know, he still got hammered by the linebacker. I guess it was a situation where the linebacker still had his momentum and saw Justin Fields upwards a little bit and then slid hit him when it was too late. I'm not sure if you saw that play or not.
It must have been a flag.
Oh, did they throw a flag on that one? I'm forgetting. I feel
like you got to protect the quarterback, especially if they're.
Oh yeah, there was almost a fight after. There was almost a fight though. People were pushing each other around, and the Bears players got mad. And
you got to protect your quarterback. That's like rule number one.
Exactly. David Manu says Danny Gray is listed as wide receiver 3. Okay, I didn't know that on the depth chart. Jennings is still going to get his pancakes in though. Yeah, as long as Jennings just is consistent with his hands, I have no problem with the guy at all. He's our only big-bodied target on this team, aside from our tight end group. But in our wide receiver group, he's our end zone type target, our big third down target. Made some great strides last year. It was a lot of fun to watch Jennings, and it's disappointing to hear about him and his bad hands and see his bad hands in the preseason. But the last preseason game, he had 3 catches. So, what do you think about Jennings?
Jennings is solid. Really, Ray McLeod's the guy I'm excited about, Bashar. When we signed him and I watched the tape, and it's like he had a low yards per catch when he was with the Pittsburgh Steelers, but it was like Big Ben wasn't pushing the ball down the field. And, that Steelers depth chart had a lot of good wide receivers when you're talking Deontay Johnson, Claypool, Juju Smith, They had a lot of bodies over there, so it's hard for Ray McCloud to stand out. But really, all three of these backup receivers, meaning Danny Gray, Juwan Jennings, Ray McCloud, they're all going to rotate. That's what I like about this wide receiver room is we got so many different skill sets, right? Juwan is the big-bodied slot. If you want the short, not the short, but the quick, shifty guy, that's going to be Ray McCloud. You want a guy that can take the top off the defense where teams better keep their safety back, you're putting in Danny Gray. So there's going to be a rotation of bodies where it feels like, Debo and Ayuk are going to be the mainstays. Well, Debo's also going to get some reps in at running back. That opens up another spot for one of these receivers we're talking about to step on the field. But it's going to be a rotation. That's what I like. You can play the different skill sets in different down and distances. And I think it's a really good wide receiver room.
I'm going to read a couple of comments. I agree with you on that one. I like Ray a lot too. Ray's not the fastest guy, 4.5 speed, but he makes the most use of his speed. And if anything, Danny Gray, Swan Song was telling me this, and Danny Gray should take a little page out of his Ray McCloud's book. He knows how to shake people when running those deep routes. Therefore, that's how he gets his separation. If Danny Gray can do that, he can maximize his potential speed-wise. It would be excellent. So Mahoney, again, back to Danny Gray, says, you hear that, Bash? My man David McNew is my new best friend. Danny Gray is listed number 3 wide receiver. Danny, this guy, if you hear this guy talk about Danny Gray on a vocal level, you'll just laugh hysterically. He just so into it.
Is Joseph on Spaces? Is he on Spaces?
Yeah, Niner Joe.
Yeah.
You've heard him. Yeah. You've heard him. I know you heard him. Steve Supremo, what's up? Welcome back. He says, I'm not concerned about accuracy like I'm not concerned about money. I'll add more time. I'm not concerned about food or a woman either, So, hey, I don't think Trey Lance is going to be the most accurate quarterback, but I don't think he's going to look terrible with accuracy either. I really don't. He just works way too hard at his craft. Just for the stuff I've heard in camp, against the Vikings, he looked fairly accurate in those joint practices. Sure, he had some bad practices here and there, and then for whatever reason, people take those bad practices and only talk about those, and they never talk about the good of Trey Lance, and I think that's ridiculous, but it is what it is. Let's talk about the guys who protect Trey Lance. Obviously, we got our rock, the silverback, Trent Williams at left tackle, Aaron Banks, Brendel, who the last preseason game, everybody did bad except for him, I guess, on the line. He had a pretty good game. He had a high rating from PFF, 82. So maybe Brendel can do something. He's been working a lot with Lance. Obviously, you have Spencer Burford, who's been a kind of a bright spot for the 49er rookie offensive lineman. Banks has had his moments. He's not perfect. He's had his mistakes too, and we're still waiting on McGlinchey's practicing now. And we brought back Jason Poe, and we also picked up another offensive lineman too. So whose name escapes my mind. Blake,
like Hands Blake, from the Browns.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So if you want to talk about O-line, man, go ahead, man, and we can always talk about O-line if you have anything to add to that.
I mean, it's something to monitor, Bashar. I'm not, that I'm concerned is what I will say. There is a level of concern surrounding the offensive line. Aaron Banks is a huge 300-pound question mark there. Brendel, I feel like Brendel's going to be all right. I'm of the opinion that I feel like as long as the center, is pointing out the right calls, calling out the right blitzers, putting the offensive line in the right positions and snapping accurately, I think that's what's most important from the center position. Because a lot of times as a center, you're working double teams. You do have to block some one-on-one, but you're working a lot of double teams, so I'm not too worried about center. Right guard, the rookie Burford, I mean, I've heard a lot of good things about him. So the preseason tapes looked pretty good. A couple bloopers here and there, but tapes look good. Right tackle is another. So the two biggest question marks for me, Bashar, are left guard Aaron Banks and right tackle with Mike McGlinchey, because we know he wasn't the best pass protector before the injury, right? Sometimes he has trouble anchoring. So that's why I'm trying to patch up this O-line, Bashar, and I would start working out Daniel Brunskill at right tackle. Brunskill came in as a tackle. We know we shifted him to guard. He played right guard for many years or multiple years for us. This year, he's been working out at center, which is fine. You need a backup center. But I think Brunskill might be our best, especially if McGlinchey's not 100%. I think Brunskill can be the answer at right tackle.
Okay. And I'm going to add to that really, really quick, but it says Bay Area Baller, do you got a Facebook? Hit me up on Twitter. I'll add you if you will do. So if you go on the description box of this video, you'll find his Twitter. You guys can follow BayAreaBaller18 on Twitter. Hit him up on Twitter. And obviously his YouTube channel is there. Subscribe to his YouTube channel. Oh yeah, I don't know why I didn't pop this up earlier, but it's just a reminder because I got some alert from Facebook once recently. It said 50% of my viewers are not even subscribed to me, which I thought was kind of hilarious. So I just want the flash up. I think I'm 3 subscribers away from hitting 600. So hey, if I hit that milestone, great. I'd gladly appreciate it. Just says subscribe to the 49er Minded YouTube channel. You can follow me on it. You can follow me on Twitter under 49er Minded, Instagram 49er Minded. If you go to Facebook, you'll find a group called 49er Minded. So just hit the like button, subscribe, much appreciated. But back to O-line, I mean, I loved what I saw from Jason Poe. I thought it would have been a travesty to lose Jason Poe on this O-line needy team. We all know that O-line was struggling at times, and I still have some optimism that the group will again, just gel as a unit. We're just late bloomers when it comes to O-line. We find a way to make it work in the regular season. If you mentioned McGlinchey, I know he's had some struggles, but they did something at one point in camp where they had Bosa on McGlinchey like every play in certain practices. And even Greg Coe from time to time was saying, for the most part, when Trent Williams and McGlinchey were out there, that Trey Lance looked his best. So that sounds good to hear against this awesome pass rush we have. I'm just going to talk about the pass rush really, really quick because I'm excited to see Drake Jackson next with Bosa. But one more thing before we talk about the pass rush. About Blake Hentz, I just wanted to pop it up because he used to play for the Cleveland Browns, and I saw a video of him against Joey Bosa, and he was filling in at left tackle, and he threw the Joey Bosa to the Browns, so he had a pretty good rep on that one in the live game. So he's got some experience playing left tackle in 2021. So we'll see what he does. I mean, from what I was reading, he had some similar productivity to kind of like Daniel Brunskill did when he was filling a tackle. So just more depth at the offensive line position. But if you want to talk about the pass rushers, really, really quick, and before we end the show, and go ahead, because I'm excited, really, really excited about this pass rush.
I will say, I was disappointed. My guy Kamiko Toure didn't make the roster. We did get him back via practice squad, so that's good. But Kamiko Toure didn't make the team. I thought he was making some plays, mostly in the run game during the preseason. But if we're talking about this D-line, Kevin Givens is a guy, Bashar, that I've been pounding the table for, especially with Kinlaw. Kinlaw's looked really good as of late. He had the sack against
Minnesota Vikings. He sacked Kellermond. It was nice, man. That was a really nice one, by the way.
Yeah. So Kinlaw's looking good, but Kevin Givens, I think he's a talented guy. So I'm high on Givens, and Ebelcam solid. Drake Jackson, hey, that's your guy. I'll let you talk about Drake Jackson. But I'm looking at, Omenahu, and really the guy. Okay, here's the one. Here's probably my strongest take. Initially, we had cut Jordan Willis, Bashar. I was pissed there for about 5 minutes.
I'm with you.
Before it came announced that we're going to be able to re-sign him after we put, Jimmy Ward on PUP. Jordan Willis is coming back. But for about 5 minutes there, I was pretty hot. I just think Jordan Willis is a really talented player. If you want to go back and look at his combine numbers are insane.
I think like a 4.5 540 or something like that.
You ran a 4.5 40. This dude's like size, speed, strength is like off the charts, and I guarantee you that's why Chris Kosaric wanted to get his hands on him. So
he looks better now. He looks better now than he did when we first got him, by the way.
Oh, yeah. He comes off that line. His acceleration is phenomenal. You can see that speed in that acceleration. So I'm very happy we got Jordan Willis back, because he's a guy I could see him having 6, 7, 8 sacks this year. Something like what Arden Key did last year. Although,
okay. Do you have a bold prediction for the sacks? Obviously, or if you want to see how much you think Bosa's going to get, I'll give you. I said this on a previous show, so I'll say it now. Here's my bold prediction for Drake Jackson, because I love what I see that guy. That guy has some fight in him. If he falls to the ground in a pass rush type situation, he gets right back up and he charges back at the quarterback, or he swims right back into the middle of the D line and finds an easier pass to the quarterback. I love what he does. I love the intensity he brings so far, and I think I haven't been excited about a pass rusher like this since obviously Nick Bosa was one, but Nick Bosa, Aldon Smith, I'm kind of getting those vibes. So I predicted 10 sacks for Drake Jackson. That's my bold prediction. I don't know if you have any type of bold prediction for Bosa or Drake Jackson or anything else on the team. And he did. Joey wanted to know what your take on Drake Jackson was.
Yeah, I really like Drake Jackson. He was a guy when our second rounder was coming up during the draft. He was a guy I had circled because this dude, he's got the bend and he's got the hands, Bashar. When I'm evaluating pass rushers or just watching defensive ends getting after the quarterback, it's those hands. Right when the O lineman tries to punch you, you got to be able to swipe those hands away, time it up. And Drake Jackson's got great hands. He's got the bend. I love the pick.
He's got the balance. He just, like I said, when he falls down, he gets right back up. And somebody says Drake Jackson's going to be a beast for us. Reminds me of Body Wiser Fred Dean. Tim Ryan, who covers the Niners, former defensive lineman for the Bears, says that he looks at Drake Jackson and he sees a Bruce Smith body type. I mean, that's the greatest sack leader of all time. You mentioned Kamoko Toure earlier, by the way. I love the fact that we picked him back up. I actually lost a bet because I thought Hyder was going to get cut. We're keeping Hyder. I was like, damn, we lost Toure. I like Toure, man, because I thought Toure was one of the reasons why we were going to cut Hyder. But we got Toure on the practice squad, which is cool. But any bold prediction though? I mean, for the team or for any position in general? Go ahead.
Oh yeah. I just did this on. I got my scorching hot takes, is what I've been calling them, Bashar. And one of them is that Ray McLeod outgains Juwan Jennings in terms of. I was combining rushing and receiving yards because I think Ray's going to get some rushing yards, whether it's via end around and jet sweep. Ray's going to get some touches. He's super shifty. He's going to be our returner. And so that was one hot take that I had, was that Ray is going to outgain Juwan Jennings. Danny Gray over 15 yards a catch was another one that I mentioned. Let's see. I had one about Kamiko Toure having 6 or 7 sacks, but he didn't make the team, so I got to cross that one off.
Yeah,
and I feel like, you know what? I'll pivot that one to Jordan Willis because I also really like Jordan Willis. So I'm going to say Jordan Willis, 6+ sacks this year. Is that hot, or that's kind of lukewarm? Is that hot or lukewarm, Bashar?
I'd say 6. I don't know about the plus part, but I'd say 6 is, hey, why not? Hey, we got to thank Jordan Willis for that block punt in that Green Bay game too. Yeah, and I definitely liked what I've seen of him in the preseason so far. Menahue, I like to pick up. I know he's been talking a lot and saying, hey, you remember, if you thought I was good last year, wait till you see me this year. So I just didn't really eye him out too much of the preseason, but it's good that we have him. I've heard a lot of good things about him. So it looks like we covered a lot of stuff. Really quick, because I'm saying 11-6 for the Niners this year. What's your record? Our team record prediction?
11-6. We're right on the mark, but I can't go with the same prediction as you. So I'm gonna say 10-7. I'm gonna say 10-7, which is kind of like right on the cusp.
Borderline.
Like
borderline.
if we're 10-7. I don't know if that's playoff caliber. It's like we're right there. We got to be right there in contention if that's the record.
I feel a little bit more confident just for the fact that I think this division is going to be a little bit easier for us. No Russell Wilson in Seattle, so
that's true.
we got the Rams to worry about, obviously, but I mean, who are the Arizona Cardinals? Who are they really? We don't really know. But hey, man, it's been really, really fun talking to you. Excellent. Talking to the guys in the chat. I tried my best to include you guys and involve you guys. There was a little funny question here. I'll answer this one really, really quick. See, I just saw it now. Steve Supremo said this really quick. He said, "Will Trent triple the pancakes that Bosa has sacks?" No, because I think Bosa might end up getting close to 20 sacks this year. Maybe, I don't know. The triple the pancakes would be crazy, but. Shout out to the chatters. You guys always make my show what it is. What's up, BayAreaBaller? Just tell me what you have in store for your channel. You said you got this new show that you got, like a little episode segment that you got for your channel going on, and just let them know where to find you and what's up with the BayAreaBaller18 show on YouTube.
Yes, sir. Every Tuesday, 49er Fired Up. It's usually 7:30 Pacific on Tuesdays. With the games coming around, I'll be uploading some film. Some film breakdowns, some highlights. Like if you want to watch Trey Lance's every throw from his starts last year. You can find those cut up on my channel. We got the Trey Lance highlights. So you'll get more film. You'll get shows just like this. Bashar, I got to get you on there where we're just talking ball. We're talking NFL. We're talking Niners. So if you're into that, it's right there on the screen. BayAreaBaller18. That's also my Twitter handle. Bashar, thanks for getting me on here. I had a blast. It's a fun time of year, Bashar.
Oh yeah, it's always fun, man. I know you got to go, so I'll let you go really quick. Before I let you go, I want to just make this announcement one more time, just to those who might be in attendance.
Well, I'm not leaving till I hear the song.
Okay. We're gonna play the song really quick.
For the song.
We're gonna play a song really quick. I just want to once again promote this. This is Sunday, September 17th, 2022 in Metro City. It's a restaurant / bar in Sunnyvale, California. There's the address, 919 East Duane Avenue in Sunnyvale, California, from 4 o'clock to 9 o'clock. We're hosting a huge 49er party. It's a meet and greet. We got DJ Maniacal. We got a raffle going on. It's $10 to get in. Dave Canal, also known as Heat, is going to be there. He's going to be a great 49er rapper. I Have the Niner is going to be there. It's his birthday party. Another 49er rapper, 49er dude, Del G. It's going to be a lot of fun. Nick for Nothing But Niners is going to be there as well. You want to meet him. It's just going to be a lot of fun. So check it out. If you're not going to the game, but you still want to, meet up with some fellow 49er fans, hey, check it out, man. And again, it's been awesome having you on. And thanks again for coming on here on 49er Minded, where we get into the minds of 49er fans. Keep repping those 49ers and stay 49er minded. Peace. Come on, 49er faithful, let's get it.
Because it's 49er mind.
We gotta do this one time for the Empire.
It's 49er mind. It's 49er mind.
We gotta get that brick by brick real quick.
49er mind.
Area. Yo, we can't listen to them haters, man.
49er mind.
We from the Bay.
49er mind.
We them San Francisco 49ers.
49er mind.
We got that red and gold blood inside us.
49er